Hello, everybody. Welcome to the re-inaugural Sales Call Overhaul podcast. This week's guest is Lynn Swayze of Brand Restoried, and we are so excited to have her today. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lynn. We are really excited to start doing these Sales Call Overhauls again. We have just been out of time up until this point, and we've just been itching to get back to them, not because of anything bad or unhealthy, but because we are excited. It's an excited kind of itch, not a poison ivy kind of itch, the good kind of itch. I'm going to stop talking about itching now. So I want to go over a couple of things before we really get into it, but we're going to talk with Lynn at length today. She has done some really cool stuff, and we're just so excited to have her. A quick reminder of the format that we will be using soon. We're going to start taking submissions again of the sales call overhauls. So if you want your sales calls overhauled, then you can get our $1,100 product for free by sending in your recorded sales calls to us, and we will transcribe them and go through them with our guest for the next week. And we will break that call down. We will grade it in 9 different areas. We won't share the exact wording. We won't share your personal info, of course, but we'll break it down and give you detailed notes on exactly what needs to go differently on that call and how you can avoid this problem and how you can do better over here. And we'll do it all very gently. We're very kind about it, but you're going to have a significant close rate improvement just from the notes that we'll give you on these calls. That's our $1,100 product that we're going to be giving away to one winner each week. So send in your sales calls at salescalloverhaul.com/sign up or anyway, you can message our Facebook page and we'll tell you how it is. So we're going to be restarting that. And for this week, we are going to be interviewing Lynn and just talking about high ticket sales funnels. And she is a great copywriter who's worked with some big folks and who does still work with some big folks. She's not over yet. And so we're really excited about really digging into what makes a great high ticket funnel, the copywriting portion and how it works with the sales portion. So I am one of your co-hosts, Jeremy Pope, and this is your other co-host. You.
Jason Cadigan. I like it when other people say my name, Jeremy.
I'll remember that in the future. I don't promise to do it, but I will remember. Yeah.
Hey, before we hop on with Lynn, who's our guest next week?
Next week we've got Sean Roach. Sean is a high ticket seminar closer. So he sells from the stage and sells in webinars. So if you need somebody to help you close in a webinar or to come in and do your webinar for you, Sean is pretty amazing for that kind of stuff, or co-host a webinar with you. He's very high ticket himself. He's all about the premium stuff. And so he can help you close 60, 70, 80% of the room when you get on stage in front of people. So we're very excited to hear that perspective on high ticket funnels as well, and when to add in live seminars to your evergreen stuff and when to take it to the stage and all that kind of thing. So we're excited about Sean next Friday, the 19th, January the 19th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. So this week, all about Lynn.
Lynn, thank you for that tasty morsel of what's to come, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's talk with Lynn about, thanks for being here, by the way, again, about personality-based storytelling and high-ticket selling, because that seems to be a huge area of expertise for you that not everyone is using or knows how to do. It's a big deal. So you talk about helping your clients make use of the celebrity code in their funnels. What exactly do you mean by that?
So I'm all about authority-based and personality-based marketing. I believe that, I'll say anything, because I'm sure there are some products you wouldn't want to sell with your personality, but when you use authority-based and kind of you become a celebrity in your niche, a lot of those things that trip up the sales process just go away. You know, you're more trusted and you eliminate some of these extra objections and you're more interesting. So instead of, people aren't buying just because you have the best product. They're buying because they want to be in your circle. You know, humans want leaders, and we love, especially as Americans, we love celebrities, you know, and it's so easy for people to become their own celebrity in their own niche when they accept that they're not selling to everybody. And that's what I do. I help people identify, okay, which attraction mechanism do you want to use, and which indoctrination mechanism do you want to use? You know, use video? Do you want to use text? Should we write a book? And kind of show them how to just use a couple pieces to make that easy. So.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Jeremy.
Well, I have a follow-up question on that, or I guess we might get into this a little bit later. We have found that works even when someone is coming off of their own phones, when they're not doing their own sales anymore. This still works. This still works great. And you have to find the balance of proper celebrity versus decelebritizing the funnel itself a little bit, so that people aren't expecting to get on the phone with the big name, right? Or the medium.
Oh, yeah.
Once someone's a big name, nobody expects to talk to them.
But that in between where it's like maybe like they're still very personal.
$3 million a year. That's that range where people are going, oh, well, I thought I would be talking with
I've seen that, yeah.
John Masters or whatever the name is. And so finding that balance there, putting lots and lots of story in, we find that we can do the same thing. We teach the salesperson the stories. We get so deep into the stories so that the salesperson can feel like they've been there from the beginning, can feel like they're
it had that same effect, I imagine, on the person, because they're feeling the same stories. They're telling some of the same stories, whether it's a client story, like, hey, this person's just like you and they've done this, or it's the guru story or their own story.
Exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense.
All those stories combine to create a real Voltron, a real monster of a sales funnel. It's pretty great. But you can't over celebritize on the front end of the marketing. It's just not really doable.
It's not like, oh, hey, write a second book or do a webinar or be featured in a newspaper. It's going to hurt you. No, most people don't do nearly enough. Most people are way too modest and make it way harder for themselves.
Yeah.
Sure. Celebrity is just, Dan Kennedy, is one of the bigger proponents of it. It works. It works. And it's what people want. The biggest, for me, at least with the type, I work mostly with course creators, authors, information marketers. So obviously it lends itself real well to personality-based marketing. Yeah. But the kiss of death is commoditization. Even for me as a copywriter, if I'm a commodity, I don't sell. I can't pay my bills. I'm going to have a hard time selling. Go away, cat. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have just a hard time just selling easy stuff, if I'm a commodity. But, when you become an expert, when you become a celebrity, people are coming to you. You don't have to necessarily have so many price objections. You don't have to try as hard. It's just you work with people you want to work with, you sell more, and you love the people you're working with. But when you're a commodity, you're stuck. People second guess you. They don't respect what you're doing. And then you're charging low because you're a commodity. Price commoditization scale. So the price is low, commodity is high. People don't respect you, and then they don't implement, and it's no fun. It makes business no fun. So I try to help people develop their personalities and that persona, just because it makes business more fun. Yeah, I just don't see why do it in another way. If you're gonna go all in.
Right. So you want to help coaches, trainers, info product creators, course creators get away from being a commodity, and that obviously helps them charge even higher tickets.
It's the only way. It's really
which is what we want.
Yeah.
And so what people might not know about you, especially those who've just met you on this podcast, is that you're very left brain. You have a background in operations, like copy chief, and you're into SQL servers and stuff that I don't even pretend to.
SQL. It's SQL.
SQL. Okay. See?
Yeah. Microsoft. Well, see, that's the Oracle. So it'd be Microsoft SQL Server. I was a SQL nut. Yeah.
So how has that affected the way your process in which you get that storytelling, I guess, out of your client and express it?
It's made it easier, I think, because for me, I know there are certain points that have to be hit, whether it's a sales page, whether it's your funnel, whether it's, that story. I know, okay, we need to have the villain and we need to have your Yoda moment, think of the hero's journey. We've got to have your journey and your customer's journey. And I know the points that need to be hit. So I'm not just pulling it out of thin air creativity, right? Creatively. For me, it's all about the structure and putting the pieces together. And it's made it easier. People, I don't know, I guess if people expect me to be more creative, but for me, it's allowed me to get projects done faster, allowed me to make sure I check all the boxes. And I don't know, it's been fun for me. I get to dabble in both. And for a while, I was really distraught over the fact that I wasn't sure how to do one or the other. But I think I've figured out how to combine the two.
One or the other, what? Left brain, right brain? Or?
Yeah. So for a while I thought, oh man, I can only do like project management, process improvement, and documentation, or I can only do creative storytelling and creative writing and the creative side. And being a marketing consultant and copywriter, I can do both, right? I can say, hey, here's your structure, and I can have fun with my, Lego building of marketing tools, right? Building that Voltron, but I can also, step back and just paint for a while, and do the writing. So
I'm sure a lot of clients appreciate having those boxes there to tick in that structure, because otherwise they might not know what they're getting into with another kind of copywriter. Very least.
I know they.
Most don't give process. Like I'm very clear.
Yep.
I have a 20-step process. I can give it all to if you want. You need it. Like I check. Most copywriters I talk to don't have a process, which is why Business of Copy exists. Abby, she's got Business of Copy. It exists because most copywriters are so creative. They're not process oriented.
Where are the limits? Yeah.
And most of the clients, they end up needing more structural help than even they needed at first. Like
think of who goes into business. It's visionaries. It's visionaries who are in their head. These are the Steve Jobs of the world with more ideas than time or hands to implement. Of course, they need more structure. They're all creative. Absolutely. So pairing them with another creative person who's only creative can be disastrous.
You often need something else in the mix to make that work. All of our clients have. There's only been one that I can even think of that has not asked for this, but we come in to put a sales team in place. They're going from solopreneur to or 3 or 4 people, but their own salesperson. The founder is the salesperson to having a sales team. They probably hired a salesperson a couple time or two, and it hasn't worked out in the past. But we think we're coming in to work on the sales team. And at this point, I finally realized we're going to be doing so many more things. And we always end up advising on the funnel in some way or another, usually 2 or 3 different ways. But there's always so much more that ties in and that connects to it and that acts as glue to make it all work. And so having that structural mindset there, you can, like in our talks, we've talked plenty of times so far. I've noticed that you can take those ideas and break them apart in just the right kind of chunks to where they fit into the business in the right way. Like you get the business vision really, really clearly. And it's fun to watch. It's really fun to watch.
Thank you.
I think that ties into my next question, which is,
cool.
Lynn, let's bring it down to reality for our viewers. What's it like to work with you? Give us an example of a client you've worked with and how you've tweaked their funnel.
I don't know what it's like to work with you. I have mostly positive feedback. There's lots of
coffee.
A lot of coffee, yes, entirely too much.
Will you please show your current
mug?
It's not a coffee mug, but
it is a receptacle of doom.
This is the boss. It is bigger than my head. It has water, and lipstick on the top. This is the boss.
Yep.
I drink.
That's a big part of your process, right?
It is, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to take a sip now that I have.
Yep, there we go.
Thank you. Lots of coffee. It generally ends up being a lot of big picture consulting, whether I've been hired to or not, because I can't help it.
Yep.
Just why I now do big picture consulting because
it's needed.
Oh, it's needed. And And I'll get back to your question, Jason. But yeah, I mean, I come in, whether it's, okay, I need you to write some ads or I need you to do a sales page. And I'm going, whoa, hold on. You're paying me to write a sales page and you're charging like 1/10 of what you should. No, let's go back. Or this front end is wrong. Let's fix it. Or these emails suck. You have to do some retargeting and these emails aren't going to work. Yeah. So it usually requires taking a step back, or it's, hey, I need some stories from you. I need to know kind of more about you, what problems you solve, who you work with best, and they can't give it to me. Which is another reason why I have that celebrity kind of persona based with my 10 Ps. I think I've shared with you, Jeremy, just because I have to. I can't write a sales page. I don't, as my business partner, Erin, says, I don't sprinkle pixie dust over words. It has to come from somewhere. So yeah, it's a lot of big picture stuff, a lot of connecting all the dots to hopefully make a better business. The other question, funnel. So one of my favorites that the first clients I ever had, super brilliant, right? So and I don't work in IT anymore, but he was an IT software consultant, knew way more languages than software programming languages that I even knew existed. His name was David. He built the competitor to Second Life and was like working with like DARPA, right? But charging something like 80 to 90 an hour.
That's way under his skill level. Yeah.
Right. He was doing like 3D simulation. I was like, no. And he had like a contact form. So he had like a simple website with a contact form. I was like, dude, it looks like you don't know if this is who you are. If an Indian is like, running it, like who knows? Like it was crappy. So I redid all of it. We did a lead magnet. Well, first I helped him with his persona, right? Like, who are you for? What drives you? Like there's none of the great man I know on this website. Like there was none of his personality. And he was really big into teaching other people to code for free. He was really big into giving back. And, he just had such a big heart. I was like, there's none of this. There isn't even a picture. It didn't even say I. It said we. Get in touch with us. And I'm like, dude, you're a solo like software developer here. So we worked on that. I built him a couple lead magnets, some white papers. Didn't have an email list either. Got rid of the high threshold contact form. We got some Facebook going. We never did ads or anything, but that didn't work with him for that long. So we did that. I set up, going through all the things we did. I changed his pricing. So I changed his proposal and contract process. We went from hourly billing to a fixed agile billing, which made him about $36,000 per contract per year.
Right.
And he had several contracts going. So and his clients loved him for it. They're like, yay, we get to secure you for a year because you're amazing. Yeah, it was. And he made a lot more money. He was able to hire 2 more developers and like a UI person within like 2 months of the changes we made.
That's such an interesting thing. He raised his prices and his clients were more comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. People don't think about that. There's actually been studies to show that price influences the perception of the work or the perception of what that wine tasting they did, right?
Tons of stuff like that.
Yeah, Dan Kennedy talked about it in his books. It was Scientific American has, a podcast on it where people tried different wines, but they were given the same wine multiple times, but at different prices. So at like one price, it was like, this is a $5 wine. You think like Trader Joe's or something. And then they gave it to them again. It was like, this is a $90 wine. Their brains lit up differently when told, and their receptions were different when told it was a $90 wine versus a $5 wine. Same wine, same taste buds, same everything. I mean, and this, they've shown this with pharmaceuticals. Obviously when you're a consultant, all of us have stories where, I've had the same copy. I sold someone for 500 and another for 10,000, and the 10,000 person is like, can't thank me enough.
Right.
Can't implement fast enough, and like referred me to 5 people. Yeah. So the pricing thing is just, they'll thank you. Like it's so counterintuitive because we have these hangups, but it's so important. And if you want to be high ticket, you've got to understand that your work will be perceived better. People they'll get better results. And it's not just about the implementation that you hear. It's, it'll work better. Your work will be more effective. yeah, I don't know. So yeah, he had his clients thanking him. They were thankful that he finally did it. And the other thing we did is we implemented, so he used to have these like cold calls and trying to sway people, and it didn't work. So we did, because I mean, we're talking 150, 250,000, sometimes $350,000 projects. I mean, he was doing software, like big, an entire business platform. Like he built one that was like, it has their timesheet and it has, marketing, like everything custom.
Yeah.
So what I did is said, hey, let's do a road mapping, a blueprint product. So instead of a contact form, so we had, lead magnets in a webinar, but then we had the blueprint. So the blueprint is, hey, you have an idea. You need someone you can trust to tell you what you need. We paid, I don't know, it was like $1,500 or $2,000. The client would pretty much tell him their idea, and he would say, hey, this is how many people you'll need. This is how long it'll take. This is how much it'll cost. These are the software platforms and languages you want to use, or frameworks, and why. Here's some frameworks of what it might look like that you could take to someone. Here's some risks that you need to watch out for. And this is about how much it would cost. And it was like, 15, 20 pages. And he would tell them up front, you'll get this. It's kind of like blueprints for a house, right? You'll get these blueprints and you could take them to me, and we'll transfer that cost to the bigger project, and we'll get that head start, because 71% of IT projects fail because of bad requirements. We've essentially built the requirements. And I included that in the marketing.
I did this research last year for a client, 2 years ago now.
Yeah. And it's all in the requirements. So pretty much we eliminated or mitigated the risk of failure. And the client could take them to someone else. But of course, by the time they got done working with him, seeing how competent he was and how nice he was, and, of course, seeing the final project, of course.
90% upsell rate to the real.
Exactly. Exactly. That, I think, was the most fun, being able to do soup to nuts.
Just the whole thing, just launch. Take an expert and launch them from scratch.
Right. And I had complete trust, and we got, like I said, results within 3 months. He was able to hire people and completely changed his business. And that to me is what it's all about. The power of marketing to transform lives. People sometimes say it's like magic, like, oh, my market this or whatever. It's like, no, marketing is scientific. You tweak and you tweak and you tweak, and eventually it works. If you are actually being honest and you continue to optimize, eventually you will, kind of like tumblers in a lock, you'll eventually come across the combination that works. So that most people don't stick with it long enough or aren't honest with themselves. Really, I would say most of it's not being honest with themselves, but I give people, some leeway. But marketing's amazing, and that's why I'm doing this and not.
And now you do pieces of other stuff too, right? Like you mentioned before, Lynn's very modest, everybody, but she was talking to me before about a John Benson control, something like that.
Not a John. I just finished with a client. The last copywriter they hired was John Benson to do a VSL. I just finished, along with Aaron, the VSL that will hopefully be the next one they run, and we'll fingers crossed be their next
kind of multi-million-dollar that Lynn works on. She's working on that level.
Just signed with Agora, so that's exciting.
Nice.
Congrats. At a meeting this morning. Yes. Congrats. I actually had a fellow copywriter tell me that I would never. This was last year. Lynn, don't aim so high. You'll never hit Agora.
Really?
Like, Birdie.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Right.
Really? Let's see. You've not seen my drive,
Right. Right. Oh, that's awesome. Very cool.
We're really excited about that one.
What division are you working with? Can you say? Or is it one of those things that has a division, or is it?
They're all divisions. Yeah, it's New Market Health. So.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was listening to an interview with Kevin and the former CEO for New Market Health. I think it was Susan something or other. One of the older Truth About Marketing podcasts.
Yep.
Really, really enjoyed it. They seem to be doing some really cool stuff over there. That's awesome.
Yeah. And they're all such nice people. Like you coming in and copywriting, you have this impression like, oh, Agora, like, they're all, I guess there used to be some old school, like, mentalities that were kind of tough. Yeah, they're all sharks. Oh no, they're the nicest people. And they all know marketing. So cool. Like who doesn't want to work with clients who know marketing?
Right.
Will pay for it. And, know copy, love copy,
Yep.
No good copywriters, when they see it, yeah, that's absolute joy. I mean,
that's fantastic. Yeah.
See that, being able to plug your content, your stuff into a system that's working at a high level.
Oh yeah,
and they're testing everything. Better results.
Oh yeah, they can tell us exactly what's worked, what hasn't, and that's rather than I don't know, I mean, everyone has to start somewhere.
We ran $700 of traffic to it, and stuff happened. We didn't really track it. No, you'll never have that problem working with Agora.
No, awesome. They're lovely. They're lovely.
Cool.
So I want to hop back to stories for a second. We know at the closing engine how important stories are to the sales process and what happens when we don't include them through bitter experience. So what happens when you don't include them in your process?
Well, one, it's hard to capture attention. At this point, I don't write sales copy that doesn't have a story. We start usually multiple nested stories. So you think about the top 3 stories that you want to have, either you want to have your origin story, you want to have an ideal customer story of revelation, and you want to have your prospect story, right? The pain, the hell of where they are versus the promised land of where they want to be. It just makes everything harder. I mean, when you don't have story, you end up going down that commoditization, right? You have to talk about the features, and you end up I don't want to say it always ends up that way, but it's really hard to not go into feature, like a feature heavy copy and kind of a sales pitch, I guess, a boring sales pitch. If you don't have story.
We think the same way about avoiding the sales pitch in the way that we sell also.
But you do story and it's easy. Story ignites the imaginative part of us. It ignites that inner 5-year-old that's like, I want the power, right? It slips past all of those barriers and fears and conscious mind objections that we have and lets us relax. We're all expecting the sales pitch. We know that when we go online, we're going to get pitched, but when it's a story, you just get sucked in. When you talk about hypnosis, Jeremy, we both have those interests. It just gets, you just get sucked in. You all know, hey, let me tell you a story. Who doesn't? We crave gossip. We love celebrities, because we love story, and it makes it easier. Like, why make it hard on yourself? I guess that's just my bottom line is stories make it easy. It makes it easy to capture attention.
They make it easy to understand on a rational level. Like an analogy is a great way to get understanding across very simply, but it makes it easy to understand on an emotional level. And
without being so obvious about it. Like, wouldn't you feel happy if, well, no, I wouldn't. Like,
that doesn't do anything. Yeah. You should feel happy now, say all the trained hypnotists. Yeah. And it just doesn't do anything. There's not any oomph there. But stories give you the real, it translates it into language of feelings.
Right.
And it lets you really get there.
And nothing else you can see it, or I guess feel it or hear it depending on your main modality. But it's you absorb it. And that's what you want. You want someone absorbed in your copy and to kind of imagine themselves in. No, because that story will stick around. I mean, think about your favorite movies or your favorite books. You remember that one character or that one scene long after you've forgotten the name of the movie, the name of the book, or what this other character's name was. You remember it. Like, I have scenes from my favorite movies where I'm like, oh yeah, I want to watch it just for that scene. That's what stories do. It makes it that stickiness. I think Kevin talked about that at one point. The stickiness of a sales message is the story. And like I said, it's so powerful. I mean, we call Aaron and I, my business partner, we call our business brand Restoried, just because the stories are it. When we can craft a good origin story and a good business story and find your ideal buyers, what's their heroic journey like, and what, and map those things out. Those are things that people never stop to do. They're thinking, I have a thing and I want to sell it for this much. They never think about who is this hero, and and that their heroic journey needs to match yours, which is something Aaron taught me. I was like, oh, I get it now. Powerful.
Yeah. Those stories make it also so you don't the prospect doesn't have to remember everything about your product. They don't have to hold the structure of your features and benefits in their mind just to be able to understand what they're buying. That story gives them a neat, clean, small way to encapsulate everything in one gestalt and just to be able to, oh, I get it. Okay. And then that's all they have to remember.
This is what it'll do for me. And this is how I'll feel. And this will solve this. Yep. As opposed to like checking all the boxes of, do I want the black printer or the white one? And, yeah.
Yeah, if you're buying a car, you're not buying all the features of the car. You're not buying the tires or the horsepower or whatever, unless you're a total gearhead. Right. The rest of us are buying the story of that car and what it's going to do for us and that kind of thing. So when is a high ticket course creator, trainer, coach ready to talk to you? How do you know?
Oh my. Usually they've gotten some wins already. I mean, just like for you guys, if someone is still coming at me with excuses as to why stuff isn't working, they're not ready.
Yes.
I work best with people who are like, I'm ready to try what works. I'm ready to figure it out. I'm ready to fail and I'm ready to win big. Because if they're coming to me and they're like, hey, I've hired other copywriters before and excuse why this copywriter didn't work or that copywriter. We tried this and excuses, they're not ready because they don't want success. I'm going to get a little woo-woo here. I believe in abundance mindset. I believe that we are our worst enemy. We are our biggest stumbling block.
Amen.
And thank you. Preach, Lynn. And if their mindset, biggest thing really is if their mindset isn't there, it's affecting everything because they're going to wimp out on the sales calls. They're going to wimp out on sending that email. They're going to wimp out on telling their personal story. They're going to wimp out on, when I say you need to raise your price, they're going to wimp out. So really it's, but I mean, I guess a bigger picture, they need to be ready to have the real conversation about what do you really want? Who do you really want to sell to? What is I call it, like your picture, the old school, what Seinfeld calls it, the pretentious word for movie, right? It's a picture. You are the star of your picture. What does that picture look like? What does that movie, your business, your life look like? If they're not ready to have that conversation. I mean, more specifically, once they've started getting momentum, we're talking, generally at least 250,000 a year, at least. Generally, it's in the several million, simply because people who haven't gotten there yet have, there's mindset issues plus the fact that, I charge 5 figures. So, I need you to be able to justify it and actually have the resources and the time to build a complete funnel that'll make my sales copy actually work for you. If you don't have a website up and you don't have an email list and you can't put any money into any kind of traffic, or you don't want to do direct mail, you have nothing in place.
Right.
I can help you build that. And of course you can hire me to help you build all those things, but that's a different conversation than, hey, Lynn, come in and, consult, help me tweak things and write the copy.
Yeah. To build, I think we priced out what it would cost us to just, if someone is starting out, they don't have anything in place yet, and we were just going to launch them, what would it cost? And we priced it out at about $37,000, $38,000. And we were just like,
that's probably cheap too. You guys probably, we're being nice pricing. That's a whole different funnel.
That's a whole different. Right. If we were to start trying to market that, we would just we'd split our attention and we just dropped the whole thing. It's like, okay, we know how to help everybody with every single piece of this.
That's the hard part, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like when you know that you can do all of those things.
Yeah.
But yeah,
saying no to it because we need to stay very focused in our own marketing. Yeah, it was tough. We went back and forth for probably 4 or 5 weeks on that. Wow. Should we? Shouldn't we? And we finally just said nope, not doing it. We'll help with it when people need help with it. But that's it.
Yep.
And so
and that niching is so important though, because even you guys do it. Even I do it where I'm like, I want to do everything because I can, because I know it'll help. And you get your heart into it and everything, but it's from a positioning perspective and a pricing perspective and a sales success perspective, niche. One person, one problem, one price, one package. What?
Yeah, the urge never goes away either.
Right, to expand out again.
Apple, the company with the largest market cap in the world right now, they struggle with this. They struggle with niching properly. You never get over it. This is an urge that is continual. You will always have to deal with that niching.
Especially if you're a visionary type, right? So I describe visionaries as, if you're the type of person where I can talk to you and you have 5 projects right now and 12 more in the back of your mind, fully fleshed out, 100 steps ahead in full Technicolor that you haven't told anyone about, you're probably a visionary. And the problem is all those ideas, visionaries especially, it's like the market needs these ideas. That's the hard part is as a visionary, all of these ideas are like, the world needs them. No one else is doing them. I have probably 30 domains in my account right now. I'm like, oh, this would have been, a great idea. And I don't want to get rid of them because someday I might have the time, but focus. When you focus and really make money and get traction on that one thing, you'll have the money to be able to take the time to do those other things, but you'll never get there if all you're doing is splitting your time between things or trying to be everything to everybody. I mean, with consultants, it's, I want to help everybody. And that was my IT guy. He was that way. He's like, I want to do mobile apps and these things and this things and, work with DARPA. And I'm like, dude, no, you can't, and we fought. And that was one of the things that ended up with me leaving because he wouldn't niche. I couldn't get him to niche. And it's hard to charge premium prices. He wanted to change the world. I'm like, you make more money, you can change the world. But he just, it's hard. It's scary. That fear of missing out, especially when you get to like a millennial. Millennials have big fear of missing out. And I end up doing a lot more mindset coaching than copywriting, it seems, just because my copywriting can't do anything if you won't, press the go button on.
See, we can't come in and do mindset coaching. Like we're far enough into the process that, like with the sales team stuff.
Especially you're at the end. I mean, the sales.
We're at the end. We're at the end. We can't come in and expect to do mindset coaching. That's just it.
They wouldn't be ready for you if they needed it.
Right. They're nowhere close. I mean, you're like at the step right before us, like the $250,000 into the several $1 million a year range. We're like at the $500,000 to several $1 million a year range is kind of our sweet spot. Because we're not able to work with people that are just one step below. In fact, I've been able to quantify that a bit, like with the pricing thing. We know beyond a shadow of a doubt, if someone is talking, like everybody comes in and talks with us because we require a $6,000 minimum price tag to be able to work with us. Like you have to have a price tag of at least $6K. Otherwise, it's not worth us putting someone on the phone for you. We have to be able to make
especially
money.
If you have all the numbers to back that up.
Right. Exactly. And so that's our minimum, and we're raising that slowly but consistently as we go until we find what it is for the bigger team. And so if someone comes in at $4,000. And because everybody says, oh yeah, I'll just raise my prices to do this. Or like,
everything else has to change. So part of my 10 P's is everything has to be congruent. So you change a P, one of those P's is price. You change your price, you have to change your description of the problem. You have to change the promise. You've got to change, maybe you might even have to change your persona or your position, what you stand against. So it's not always as easy as, I'm just going to rate. Sometimes it is.
Exactly. But
not always.
Yes. So no, that's exactly what I'm talking about there. And that's a more sophisticated explanation of it than the way Jason and I usually talk about it with just the money tolerance issue. Oh, they're going to wimp out on X, Y, or Z. No, there are more pieces of it. So thank you for explaining that. I'd never put the 10 Ps with the raised prices before in my head. So that I'm going to talk to you again about the 10 Ps.
Okay. Cool.
So with the raising the prices thing, if they want to raise their prices 30% to work with us so that they can afford to put us into their margins and everything, okay, that's fine. 30% is no big deal. But if somebody comes in and they've been charging $1,500 and they're going to raise it to $6,000, I know that's not going to work. It's just not.
From a mindset perspective, I can tell you that they would just never do it.
Right.
That's too big of a jump. Unless you're doing some major mindset work which is why, other high ticket sellers, you notice their programs are 90% mindset.
Yep.
Because it has to be. It has to be.
And
so everything else has to change. Your lead magnet will have to change. I'm sure the way that they describe things have to change.
Yep.
They probably have to kick out 80% of the people that are in their tribe right now.
Yeah.
Completely different. It's a completely different business. You might as well start from scratch.
Yeah. And that's terrifying, because then you go, where are the customers? I just had to cut off 80% of the people.
People get afraid. That quantity over quality.
That
they get
so
afraid.
many times.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we're going to dig deep into those things.
Yes, let's do that.
Around the pricing. Yeah.
Nice.
I've got a big echo. Okay, I'm done. Okay. That apparently stopped it.
That might just be in our headsets.
I think that is just in my headset. Okay.
So I guess we're about to conclude.
Wow.
Tell us a little bit about Brand Restoried, I guess, and your experience there. That should play us out, and and where people can go to get in touch with you.
Sure. Yeah. So Brand Restored is my business with Aaron Crocker. Aaron is, like I said, he should probably be on this call or on with you guys at some point. He's amazing. He's been in the business for 15 years. Basically, we're doing, I don't say high ticket, but I mean, big name sales copy. He helped build his fitness business to 55 plus locations before he sold it. He helped Iron Tribe do the same. His ads were featured in one of Dan Kennedy's No BS books.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, he's got, you go to brandrestory.com. There's so much. He's amazing copywriter, amazing partner. And so he and I work on all copy, just because who wants to write copy alone, right? It's so much more fun to be able to bounce ideas and go, what about this and that? And sometimes we even do split tests against each other. So we'll come in and be like, he's going to write one piece of copy, I'm going to write the other, and the loser has to donate $100 to charity. Nice. That's my favorite. I love it because feeds that competitive nature. And sometimes we have different approaches, and like any practitioner, you're going to have differences of opinion, and sometimes we do. And just see who wins. And it's been such a pleasure. So yeah, brandrestored.com. Like I said, it's a little bit separate from my business.
Slowly, Lynn.
Sorry, I'm talking too fast. Slow down, Lynn.
What's your website again?
So mine is lynnswayze.com.
Okay.
LYNNSWAYZE, just like Patrick. Yes, I'm related. The other is Brand Restoried. BRANDRESTORIED.com.
IED. Got it.
Yes.
Restoried.
It's a made up word.
Cool.
And
I like it. Well, you're copywriters. That's appropriate.
Yep. And so, for that one, you get 2 copywriters for the price of one.
Nice.
And we do pretty much just copy. So website copy, a lot of sales pages, VSLs, a lot of VSLs lately. Supplement copy, weight loss, consultants, of course, fitness.
Yep.
Fitness gurus. Me personally, I do more marketing consulting, as well as copy. So if you just need copy, Brand Restoried, because you do get, that joint expertise. If it's more consulting, funnel building, a kick in the pants about pricing, and someone who can kind of advise on tech. I don't necessarily build tech for everybody, but I can advise on, building a website or pieces you need or other things. Me, lynnswayze.com. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Lynn. This has been
fun.
Even more fun than we thought it would be.
Yeah.
And we know we just scratched the surface here, because there's so much other layers of stuff we can get into here. Speaking of the edge,
we definitely want to talk about those 10 Ps. Maybe we'll come on. Maybe we'll have you on again to talk about the 10 Ps specifically, or maybe we can do
because I'm building it out as a book and a program, so it definitely.
Definitely maybe we can do special. Like a download for the podcast for that as well. Something like that. We'll figure something out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, if you want to come listen to the entire Sales Call Overhaul shows with sound bites and everything, you need to join the Sales Call Overhaul group. And that is our free Facebook group for insiders only. And you can join that by going to www.salescalloverhaul.com. And there's a little super high barrier contact form So where we get a little bit of information, and we want to know what kind of relationships you're trying to build in your business. So tell us a little bit about yourself and join the group. We're happy to add all real non-spam people to the group. I'm hearing room noise from somebody there. Oh, gotcha. Okay, that works just fine. And then the salescalloverhaul.com will get you into the Facebook group where you can sign up to win the $1,100 Sales Call Overhaul package each week. We're going to be going through that with our guests. So we'll have Jason and me going through that with you, and we'll also have our guest expert for the week going through that sales call as well and pointing out, like Lynn, we would have next time we have you on and we're doing a sales call overhaul, we'll be like from a copywriter's and funnel builder's perspective. Well, if you had this set up in your funnel and here's how you would do this in your funnel, it would never have come up in the sales call in the first place. You wouldn't have this objection in the sales call if you had it taken care of in your marketing before you got on the phone and stuff like that. So we'll be getting all kinds of different perspectives on that stuff. And so join the group, salescalloverhaul.com, to win the $1,100 weekly prize for the Sales Call Overhaul giveaways that we're going to be doing. And
Lynn is in there with us.
Yeah, Lynn's in the group too. Yeah. So we'll be.
It's not a party till it's a Lynn Swayze party.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's a great party.
I'm not even going to get excited about it because it's like just a fact that everyone knows.
Right. So again, Lynn's website is lynnswayze.com and brandrestoried.com. And if you need done for you sales teams, then you can always get us at theclosingengine.com. And we will see you next week, Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, everybody. All right. Thank you, sir. Well, that was fantastic.